welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. A row has broken out in Canada over a poster campaign in schools which promotes polygamy. The poster declares love has no gender and shows a variety of relationships, including an image of one man and two women and two men and one woman. Critics say that the promotion of polygamous relationships is happening as a result of Canada's decision to legalise same-sex marriage in 2005. And Doretta Wilson from the Canadian group Society for Quality Education said, "This will certainly be controversial among some parents, particularly religious parents of different faiths, and maybe even those who aren't religious who think this isn't appropriate for young children who may not understand." Toronto District School Board has tried to defend the poster, saying it does not support polygamy, adding, "The images in question were meant to support an individual's right to choose whom they love, regardless of gender." The number of patients with psychiatric conditions and dementia who had their lives ended under the Netherlands' controversial euthanasia laws is on the rise. Overall, the number of deaths by euthanasia in the Netherlands last year stood at 3,695. That's an increase of 18%. Dr. PETER Saunders, a leading pro-life medic, has warned that the situation is out of control. Writing on his blog, Dr. Saunders said, "What we are seeing in the Netherlands is more accurately termed incremental extension, the steady intentional escalation of numbers with a gradual widening of the categories of patients to be included." The news from Holland comes as UK judges ruled that the case of Tony Nicklinson, who campaigned for doctors to be allowed to kill him, will not be allowed to go to the Court of Appeal. Tony Nicklinson suffered from locked-in syndrome and wanted doctors to be able to end his life. His wife, Jane Nicklinson, vowed to carry on the case after her husband died soon after the verdict was given. But Lord Justice Toulson said, "It is, of course, an important question whether the law of murder should be changed in the way that Tony fought for, but it does not follow that permission to appeal should therefore be granted. We consider it to be plainly a matter for Parliament." However, a second locked-in sufferer whose case to be killed was heard alongside that of Mr Nicklinson has been given leave to appeal. The man, known only as Martin, suffered a major stroke in 2008. The judges gave his appeal the go-ahead, saying it raised questions of sufficient significance to merit consideration by the Court of Appeal. A motion debated in the Northern Ireland Assembly in support of redefining marriage has been defeated. Finance Minister Sammy Wilson said there were other issues the Assembly should be debating instead, such as the economy. He said he thought there was no demand in the province for the kind of changes being asked for in the motion, continuing, "I would have no intention of bringing forward any legislation to this House to facilitate gay marriage, and I believe that in doing that I do reflect what is the general view in this society in Northern Ireland." Meanwhile, homosexual actor Rupert Everett has also voiced his opposition to gay marriage, revealing that he has received hate mail and death threats for his views about same-sex parenting. Mr Everett recently criticised gay couples who have children, saying he agrees with his mother who thinks kids need a mum and a dad. The French government has announced plans to completely cover the full medical costs of abortions. They say a full reimbursement is necessary to ensure all women have equal access to abortion. The scheme, which would use taxpayers' money, was announced as part of the new Social Security budget, which also revealed plans to increase the amount clinics are allowed to charge for abortions. The move had been promised by newly elected President François Hollande before he won the election in June. He also pledged to make sure terminations were available at every major hospital in the country. The current law in France allows abortion on demand up to the 12th week of pregnancy. Most countries in the EU have a legal limit of 12 weeks or less. Meanwhile, in the UK, the new Minister for Women and Equalities, Maria Miller, has said the abortion limit here should be lowered from 24 weeks to 20. Figures just released show England and Wales has the highest rate of abortions in Europe among women aged under 20. The government's chief drugs advisor, Professor Leslie Iversen, has heavily criticised a TV programme which showed volunteers taking ecstasy. Nearly 2 million viewers watched Drugs Live, the ecstasy trial, on Channel 4 last week. 25 volunteers, including a former MP, were given pure ecstasy before undergoing tests which included a brain scan. Professor Iversen, who is chairman of the Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs, said the programme was in danger of glamorising drugs taking, whilst others simply called it an advert for drugs. A Channel 4 spokesman defended the show, saying the research results could be useful in the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder, and the programme did not glamorise drug taking and reflected both the positive and negative aspects of using ecstasy. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.